9:45 right now. On their way home from the ski trip, a blinding snowstorm stranded Johnny Marseille and a friend on a deserted logging road. They were rescued 11 days later, but the frostbite complications meant the amputation of her legs below the knee.
Now, 30 years later, Jamie is a record-breaking athlete, author, and teacher, and Jamie's inspiring and supporting others through her nonprofit organization, Warriors with Hope. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
What I think is interesting is you called it your second coming after you had your legs amputated. My dad went through cancer, and he called it a blessing in disguise. Is that kind of how you feel?
Yeah, multiple facets that I'm related to your father in that aspect. When I lost my legs at 19, I had to learn to walk all over again. I had to learn to get back into society and understand what is normal. And I've always had a strong heart, a strong belief in faith, and I knew that I was saved on that mountain for something bigger and better that I couldn't have imagined. And 30 years later, I'm actually a 2-time cancer survivor. So when you talked about your father, it kind of tied everything together for myself.
Wow. So you broke marathon records. You competed in the Boston Marathon. You're just like this amazing athlete. And do you think you would have had that in your life had that not happened?
Absolutely not. Something I have to own up to, especially being an elementary school teacher and being a huge athlete now, is growing up I didn't exercise, and I kind of laugh about it. But I have to be honest, because I've learned how important leading a healthy life and choosing exercise can make you feel, from your mind down all the way to your toes. And I didn't do it growing up. So I'll never forget being in the hospital after I lost my legs. My grandfather, who was such a huge part of my life, got in my face and he gave me that tough love. And he said, if you had exercised, it wouldn't be so hard, but now you're going to embrace it, and it's going to make such a difference for you.
You really transformed this tragedy into a real motivator, and you started this nonprofit.
I did. My husband and I started the nonprofit Jamie Marseille Warriors with Hope, because a lot of cancer patients go through an amputation, and I did it differently. I became an amputee 30 years ago, and now being a 2-time cancer survivor, our mission is to provide people with education, peer support, and financial resources. I think, unfortunately, cancer is a part of everyone's vocabulary. Even my children. I don't remember as a child hearing cancer, and I want to provide people with hope, because cancer does not mean a death sentence.
Right.
It creates fear in so many people, and our mission is to squash that. It's just another chronic illness that you have to learn how to live with.
And certainly, being a double amputee, you are a walking testament to inspiration and education, all those things. So you brought something to show us. Like, how do these work?
I did.
So this is how you run. You run with these. So you have different prosthetics on now.
Exactly. I have my walking prosthetics on now. So this is what's called a Flex Run, made by Oser Prosthetics. And it is amazing. Like, one of my girlfriend's daughters called them my jumpy feet, because I put them on and I just have this sense of exhilaration that nothing can stop me. So they're super lightweight.
So you ran the marathon in those?
I did. I ran the Chicago Marathon and the Boston Marathon in both of these prosthetics.
Let me see the little, and it's so interesting that Nike made the shoes for those. The rubber bottom has the little swoosh on it.
It's called a Sarah Soul, from a fellow amputee and her work with Nike. And because when I first started running, I ran track. So I'd have to go buy track shoes, and then we would have to cut them up, which was very hard, and then adhere them to the bottom of the prosthesis. And now through Oser and Nike, they've developed this incredible sole that it helps you from slipping, and it just gives you that extra jumpiness to cross the finish line as a winner.
So you don't really walk around in those. You walk in your walking ones. These would be weird to walk in.
Exactly. They're fun to walk. And it's really cool, because part of the mission of the charity is to provide prosthetics. Unfortunately, insurance doesn't cover this. And I know for me, learning to run at 28 gave me such confidence, such perseverance, a sense of resiliency that nothing could really stop me. And so we want to provide these prosthetics to children. They wear them all the time.
So insurance will give you a wheelchair or something, but they're not going to give you some that gets you really back to life.
Exactly. And this type of equipment can be very expensive, and it does get you back to life. And there's many times I've fallen. Like when I first learned to run, I fell, and so my coach is like, let's go over to the grass where it's not so difficult.
Tell us about the charity event, because that can help other people with it.
Absolutely. So our first charity event is next Monday, December 17th at Seacliff Country Club in Huntington Beach. And
I was about to say, Lynette is available to MC, but I see Henry DiCarlo will be emceeing.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, maybe I can go and assist.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you. Yeah, and we have a big surprise for honoring and presenting a cancer survivor with some good stuff that evening. And we've just had incredible support from Vince Ferragamo, Henry DiCarlo, and it's just going to be a great evening.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, let me tell people more about how they can reach you. You can find Jamie and also, of course, KTLA's Henry DiCarlo emceeing this Warriors of Hope Celebrity Golf Tournament. As we said, I think we'll give you another full screen to show you again. Just make sure you know exactly where it is, December 17th at the Sea Cliff Country Club in Huntington Beach. There's the information for tickets. You can go buy tickets right now. For more information on Warriors with Hope, head to warriorswithhope.org. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. There'll be more KTLA Morning News when we come right back.